My name is Woody Landeros.
And I'm Joseph Landeros.
You're listening to the Landeros Brothers, where we talk about.
Communication through art.
I like how it sounds all structured.
Yeah. Roll to the
Well,
intro.
you're supposed to say, just roll the intro.
All right.
Okay, let's do it. Today's topic is clean up your act. What we're talking about is the difference between a clean art space and a messy art space. Joseph and I have been going back and forth about, different creators that have spaces that look messy but that are pretty much clean in their eyes. I don't know, it's just talking about spaces in general, artistic spaces where you would make your music, spaces where you would paint, spaces where you would dance, anything that you would do artistically.
Right, yeah, I think we can both relate to this on a personal level. I feel that, not that we're entirely polar opposites, but for the most part, we have different styles of learning. You happen to have a really clean space, as you guys can't see in the studio. It's really organized. And in comparison to, say, maybe some of my spaces, it's a little bit more unorganized, and that's just how my brain happens to work.
Yeah, but talking about the studio just a little bit. So the studio used to be for a music group that we had started together called Till 4 a.m. And we recorded for different artists that didn't have the finances to have the equipment, or didn't have the programs, or didn't have the knowledge to make music. And we did, but we weren't necessarily recording our own music at that time. So we wanted to help other people out to be able to put things out on SoundCloud or out on whatever, out on the internet. So that's what we created. And then it kind of died down, and we both sort of went our separate ways, because you were doing more beat production, or right? That's beat production. And then I was doing more videography. So then we kind of had our own little routes. But the studio in that period of time, since we were away from the studio, got really, really messy. It kind of looked like a storage space. There was boxes of things that, we kind of just threw things in there, and it didn't feel like a creative space anymore. It felt like a storage space. And that was a big influence on the way that we actually were producing things, because we weren't producing things. And it wasn't fun to come in here.
Yeah.
And then recently we just fixed it up. We got AG in here to fix up the panels. We got my homie Jesus in here to put in the projector. We got the speaker stands. We're gonna get a rug in here. It's gonna be a really creative space, and it's actually gonna be for some interns that I have coming on from RCC and San Bernardino Valley College. So yeah, we're sitting in their spaces that they're gonna be able to learn in, and it's just so important to have not necessarily like a OCD knit tight perfect space, but clean enough or organized enough for your workflow to go process, I guess, or to actually happen.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah, well, you spoke on, you phrased OCD, and OCD happened to be a mental disorder. I could relate that to the fact that over 40 million American adults here happen to have and suffer from anxiety disorders. And I think that different elements can contribute to that. And say with myself, unconsciously, or not really understanding why I may be stressed out at the end of the week, can be contributable to things such as organization altogether. I know with schoolwork, I know with keeping up with just the everyday lifestyle of being a professional boxer, and also having passions within art, it can just become a mess.
Yeah, well, two things I don't know if the listeners know about me is that, one, I work in my home, so that's where I edit all of my videos. That's where I primarily work. And then two, I understand and I know that I suffer from a little bit of OCD. I have minor OCD. It's just if my space is not super super clean, then my workflow is horrible. I know I actually have an issue in that area, because I have to have all of my shoes, the right one goes forward, the left one faces back. All of my shoes need to be filled up in that space. I don't know, like my jacket needs to be put on my chair a certain way. Like I know I have those, and that's kind of like to the extreme,
Yeah.
and that's a little crazy. But I do understand like that other people that don't necessarily have that extreme, they still go through that where like if your space is not like clean, then you know it just like. And then also talking about like with your art and your communication through art, and showing that everything that's like around you is what you're going to be like creating with your art. So like if there's a depression, or if there's something like tragic going on in life, then usually your art reflects some of that, like even without you even thinking about it, just mentally, you pull things out of like what you're going through and you put it into your art. So like for you to have like a very messy environment and have very unorganized, sometimes it's very difficult to think about having like finishing a piece, because then you're always thinking about, okay, well, I need to do this, I need to do that. And that's one of the downfalls of working at home, because sometimes you have laundry and that does fall into like your organization of your workspace.
Yeah.
And like in here, it's just, it feels a lot different, because now I like want to come in here and I want to make music again, and I want to like mess around with the guitar. I was watching like tutorials on like, you know, Logic and like all these things. And it's just so weird how like,
The environment plays.
yeah, you
plays a role.
might feel like, oh, maybe it's because I'm not that into it right now, but it's also like it's because your space is not that like inviting.
Definitely. I think, well, I like to impose this new topic, but I think that procrastination and organization go hand in hand. At least with myself, I can see that after this place started getting a little more cluttered, speaking about the studio, I didn't really feel as you said, invited to be creative in this space. And it was just easier for me to say, take my computer inside the car, just do some beats in there. Like that's one of the pros, I think, of being unorganized, is that perhaps you can just be flexible to different environments. And I made some of my best beats in cars and different places like that, like super unorthodox. But yeah,
I think that
definitely
kind of
does
lies.
kind of pushes you off of the grid, like where you feel like, oh no, I'll make a beat another day whenever I go in the studio. And then
Yeah.
you go in there and you're like,
I think that's the difference between like being like having a location or being mobile, though.
yeah,
Because I think that it's more like you're like running from
from the clutter.
from the clutterness. So like I think you even still need your organization, because you know you have your your small laptop with your little external hard drive plugged into the wall. So you're like, you find like a nice clean space in the house, you push things around, and then
Right.
now it's organized.
Yeah.
But like
Um,
yeah, it does affect, because I know like I'll even just like run away from my like my film storage space whenever like all my batteries are everywhere and all my DSLRs are all over the place. Like it doesn't feel like, I don't even feel like vlogging whenever I have my camera stuff unorganized.
Or
But like
just
that
even on-
organization of it, if your organization is mobile, then you kind of eliminate the clutter and the procrastination portion of it.
Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about organization altogether, one thing that I happen to envy even from yourself is just the way you can plan things out. Like, say, if you have a vlog, you happen to have like, all right, I didn't write that down. Like, I told Woodie, like, oh, you're going to my girlfriend Ariana Rivera, her Christmas party, and I told Woodie, and he says, well, I actually didn't write that down, but okay, yeah, sounds good. And I kind of forgot that that's how he works, and he works off like calendars and stuff like that. And not to make a joke about his OCD or whatever it may be, but you could definitely tell that it's a lifestyle type of thing that kind of affects you in all aspects, where you're like, oh, don't put that there. Oh, don't touch that. Like, oh, that's already there. Like, your brain establishes a map of where all the contents have to be.
Yeah.
Psychology Today.
And they have to be like even. And like the calendar thing too kind of goes into my workflow, because I do have like clients that I have to schedule on time. So then I'm like, oh, wait, you're saying Saturday? Is there a Christmas party? Is there like a video that I have to do? So I want to make sure that like I get the date and the time, and then I like schedule it also with the people that are coming with me. Like, like, could Rebecca go, and all that stuff. So
And that could influence
which
a vlog.
I still need to tell her, and that's probably bad if she hears this.
All right. Going back to the idea of procrastination, I actually just recently read an article by Psychology Today, and they said that out of the top five reasons for procrastination, the first one to be presented is the absence of structure. It states that it happens to affect our happiness and it happens to affect our everyday being of life in general. I'm just kind of summarizing it, but there are other instances or other different factors that may contribute to procrastination, such as if the task is unpleasant, if it's not convenient to your timing, if you happen to have anxiety at the moment, that may lead to your procrastination. And also, number 5, and I know you want to speak on this, your self-confidence may lead to this unorganization or disorganization.
Yeah, so going back to being able to communicate through art in your space, that inspires you to create something. So the confidence really does matter. So like if I have like a horrible, like dusty, crooked painting, like a bunch of like, I don't know, I'm just thinking about a bunch of things that would annoy me, like dust and a crooked painting and like a computer that's like, I don't know, it has like a crack on the screen, like just like a bunch of like just a little dusty like studio.
Yeah.
Then I'm not gonna be confident about it enough to bring somebody in there. And if I can't bring someone in there, then that's gonna eliminate the word collaboration. Mm-hmm. And that's a big deal because I know that even like for us, we haven't really been to a lot of people's studio spaces, or at least for myself. And I think that kind of tells you a little bit about like people don't want to bring you in their space because like, that's a little messy, or I don't know, like I'm not sure.
Right.
And that like confidence is really lacking. And like for me, I'm able to say like, yeah, come in. Yeah. There's a couch. There's chairs. We've got water. There's restrooms over there. Like it's a comfortable space, and you're able to be when you open this studio door, you're like confident, and you're able to say like, this is my ready. Studio.
Yeah.
And it's
funny. I was actually talking to my friend Colson. Shout out to Colson, one of my good friends from school. We were actually just talking about what's going to happen after high school. It's kind of off topic, but we're talking about what's going to happen after school. And he actually records. He mixes and masters.
We're talking about collaboration and like other people, artists.
Yeah. He's speaking about like mixing and mastering and how he's been working. He actually works through, I forgot which program, but he's pretty good at it. But he literally just records his audio through just like a small interface with a pretty decent mic and just a small room, I believe, like a closet or something like that. Just with some like blankets on the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is how reflective that workspace may be to his music. He makes punk music, and this music is like hardcore.
Yeah.
And he needs that sort of grit to be able to make that type of quality of music, and that sort of entirely just symbolizes how your space would influence, the quality or just the direction of your art.
Oh, even like punk and like gangster rap.
Yeah.
And was it like the vibey, like majestic casual, like being next to the beach or being like in a space. Rebecca and I recently went to a co-working space called WeWork, and we came up with a business plan, and we maybe spent like 7 hours there of nonstop like creative thinking, just flowing like 2 coffees in the system, and just like talking about it was just such a creative like moment. And I will never forget that because like being just kind of like inside of your normal workspace sometimes doesn't work either. Like sometimes you have to go to the place where like it like brings out that creativity in you, and you see like the space that you're working on. You got like a cool brick wall with paintings on it, and the fun little mugs or whatever.
Yeah.
And like it's cool, but also like I don't want to sound like, well, we got this studio and we're bad, and I also want to say that like when I was making videos, I was doing it like on a little flip phone or something, like a flip. I think it was like a Juke or something. I'm not sure, but it was something. And I was filming these videos, and it didn't stop me creatively. It was just about being around the right people, and then I was able to build up slowly, and like even setting up this DJ system that we had inside of our room, where it was like all messy, but we had like this vibe where it was like, this is the space, and that was the space for it. Like this studio is like clean for a reason, because I I like editing like audio in this sort of space, and it feels good for audio. But like when it comes down to painting, I have like this vision of a really, really messy painting space with like
Yeah.
paint all over the ground and like canvases up and just a bunch of different posters ticked onto the wall and stuff. And I have that dream for my garage, the garage that I have connected to my house, to just have like a really, really just unorganized where I can like throw paint and it can
Yeah.
get all over my shirt.
Have you seen those?
And that's
those
so much
videos?
fun because
I
wait, yeah, the ones where they
Yeah.
like splash and stuff.
Like-
See, like that for me, like I know like that is a clean space, but like in a really like
Chaotic
messy
way.
looking, or it looks messy, but I feel like that really like creatively just like flows.
It's free.
Because there was one time that we painted a little mural inside of the garage, and we were kind of just like painting whatever we wanted, and paint was going on the ground. I still have the pans that I painted with, and they have like a bunch of colors on it. I even like when I painted and I wanted to wash down the paintbrush, I just wiped it on my pants. Like that's just like my creative flow with painting.
Yeah.
And even like with the street art that I used to do with the spray cans, I think it just comes from that, and like getting the spray paint all over my fingers. Like it's just that feeling of kind of like really getting into the medium that you're doing. And like
Right.
filmmaking too, like there's gonna be a crap ton of cords all over the place. Like things are gonna be a little bit unorganized, but it's just like about getting that like flow of like getting that correct shot. And sometimes you might need to use like a reflector in a really weird way and duct tape it to a wall or something, or whatever you have to do. But like I think the spaces also change like when you change mediums, or when you like for yourself. And another person's audio space, like I've actually been to another person's audio space. His name I think is Dominic. I'm not sure. But I went to his house because I was just gonna check out a guitar that he had, and his entire room was all like acoustic panels. The flooring was acoustic flooring, like the sides were acoustic.
Dang.
All of it was like soundproof.
Yeah.
And then they had like 30 guitars all over the walls, and like drums and like drumsticks all over the ground, and it just felt so creative, but like in their way that they would make music, because it was just like thrashy rock music. And but like for me, like I'll do it a little bit differently. So
Yeah.
it just also depends on your personality too.
Yeah.
And for him, like I can see how he can say, this is so organized right now. Like I'm so excited about how clean my space is.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, put the drumsticks in the cup, and where are the picks? Keep
Yeah.
them all organized. Why is that one over there? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just that.
Well, sorry to cut you off.
No, I was pretty much. I feel like I'm rambling
Oh,
because
well,
I like
you're
clean.
good.
I like clean workspaces.
Yeah, you're talking good. I think it's good to sort of apply your own life experiences, but sort of just to direct the focus of the audience a little bit more back to something like some statistics or something like that, just so they can know what we're talking about, or I guess you could say quote us altogether, or think of us as reliable. Studies have shown that imagination is actually tied to empathy, and I'm getting this from Recovery Ranch. They have an article speaking about the pros and cons of organization, and in this case, they're speaking about the con of it, and they happen to say, and I quote, "You can't walk a mile in another person's shoes unless you're able to envision yourself in their place. If you're too rigid in your thoughts and your habits, you might lose the ability to connect with people on a meaningful level." Now, and I end that quote, I can relate to that because when I started making beats, I was in a chemistry class. It was a summer school chemistry class, and I happened to hear this kid on the other side of the room. His name's Jacob. Shout out to Jacob. He happened to be making a beat on his phone, and it was like this GarageBand app or something like that. And I was like, dang, like how can he do that?
Yeah.
And that, like the next day, I think that was like the first day, I downloaded the app and I started working on it in class while I should have been taking notes. I passed that class, of course, but
Just to put it out there.
yeah, but it was just seeing him do it and kind of feeling that sense of relatability that perhaps maybe I can do that too. In that unorganized space, just using an iPhone, it really just helped me sort of kickstart these new ideas and being creative. And I think it's funny when I listen to my old beats because I think some of those sounds are actually a little more creative than what I'm doing now, because now I have this structure, and it becomes a little less, I how do I say, experimental.
Yeah.
But I have to force myself to get into different places, say in my mind or say in my feelings altogether, to be able to direct my music nowadays.
Yeah. Well, it's just building up that routine too.
Yeah.
Because like the second I wake up, I walk into my bathroom, brush my teeth, wash my face. I
Fall
have like
asleep.
routine. No, not
Fall
fall
asleep
asleep.
for 30
No.
minutes.
No.
Wake up, say, Joe, sorry. I fell asleep,
We
man.
have like a time slot that we have to wait. Like if I don't wake up, because I put my alarm at 3:30 every morning. So like I know I have like 30 minutes to get up. So then sometimes I'll like lay down in my closet while I'm putting on my shoes, and then I'll just knock out. It'll be like 6 o'clock and be like, oh, Joe, I'm sorry. So that's what he's talking about, just to clarify it. But just talking about like routine and stuff, like I know for sure that like when I walk into the bathroom, like my body already knows that I'm gonna like brush my teeth, wash my face, and do that thing. So that too can happen like in your own little creative space. And I have a vlog on that about creative block and saying that like if you do get into a creative block, it is about getting out and going into another space, getting
Yeah.
inspired by other things, and then going back. And I think you're also talking about the mobility of being an artist, like talking about like being clean or messy or whatever. I don't know if it would be connected to mobility as much, because you're like if I do, let's say like I'm in school and I'm like sketching and I'm doing like little doodles, it would be the difference. Like that would be like a clean artist, like somebody that keeps it really organized.
Yeah.
Or like a messy one would be like rip papers and like
Yeah.
pen shading with your fingers and then like oil paint or something, like you know what I mean, like having
Yeah.
like a really unorganized and like crumbling it up, putting it back into your bag.
I suppose I'm just kind of speaking about the organization of like a routine. Like, say,
Yeah.
I know there's probably a bunch of artists out there that would get mad at me because I'm going in my kitchen and making a beat, like because they have their equipment in here and they're very serious about
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
an organized space when they make music.
Yeah.
Because like painting, say you need a canvas, some of these instruments you can't take out all the time.
No, yeah, I agree.
So-
I agree with you. Like, I think, well, I always like to see it, like, obviously, like in both sides.
Both sides of the
You know what I mean? Because on the other side, what's the one thing that I needed to work on with my vlogs? Like, what did I need to get over to be able to start posting vlogs? It was just being like that perfect little I needed to get over just that perfectionist like portion of it.
Yeah.
That was the only way I was able to post a vlog. Like the last vlog, I hate it. The vlog before that, I hate it. All my vlogs, I hate it. The next one, I'm sure I'll hate.
Right.
But like maybe like 1,000 vlogs in, I might like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everybody's like saying, "Oh my gosh, you did so much. You've made so many vlogs." But I'm like, yeah.
What if you had like
I need to make a good one though. Like I need to make high quality vlogs, and like that's the perfectionist portion of it. But the one that actually gets things done is the one that's like, you need to not care that much. You need to just post it,
Yeah.
and that goes back to social media.
What if you made like a movie length vlog?
I would love
Like
to do
if
that.
all your vlogs put together, you have like this big like compilation.
Well, that's the future, right?
Yeah.
Somebody will do it.
Speaking about the studio, I've lost a bunch of things here. I don't even know where it goes. I think the raccoons take it or something.
If you tell me what you're looking for, I'll probably find it.
All right. See, there's two types of people in this world. I'm just joking. What I'm trying to get to is, say if it's a little chord, say if it's a pick, little things really matter in the long run. According to the National Association of Professional Organizers, and that is a real...
That's my website.
That's in my resume. AKA NAPO. They report that on average,
my middle name.
we spend 1 year of our whole entire lives looking for lost items. And that altogether is over 8,700 hours. 8,700 hours.
I think I spend that many hours trying to put things in place so that I don't forget where they are. I probably spend half of my life putting things like in a place and trying to memorize that it's there. Like if Rebecca asks me, can you find me a bobby pin? I'll remember like, okay, like at this time, she put one down here.
Yeah.
At this time, so I'll go to like all those little spots. She forgets things in so many different places. And I'm always like, oh, I know where your sweater's at. I know where your bobby pins are at. I know where your comb is at.
Dang.
I know where everything is at in my head.
Yeah.
And like when something's lost, I'm like, I know someone stole it or someone is using it. And then like I'll ask her like, where's the stapler? And she'd be like, oh no, I don't even know. And I'm like, you touched it.
Like, let me
I
check
know you touched it. And then I'll like look in her office desk and be like, oh, I forgot. I used it on this. And I'm like, I know. I just
Yeah, so like
I know where things are at.
yeah, Woody was born and like he came out and he started organizing the doctor's tools.
I had to organize all the things that you were throwing on the ground.
Now you were born and the doctor was like, I'll put this over here, and then you're like, no, move it right
I was like organizing all the tools.
here.
I think I was organizing your stuff. I think a lot of the things that like you have are because of me, and then a lot of things I have is because of you.
And I think that's what makes this podcast great.
We'll just put it in a positive note.
Yeah, because it just gives you two sides of the spectrum, and we're trying to become as transparent as possible. I know that's something you and I both share in common, but you have two different sides of the story. You have the lover and the fighter, man.
No. I'm the fighter for the love.
All right.
And you're the lover for the fight.
Oh, that's pretty cool. We should brand that. All right, you got to trademark before the podcast ends.
Yeah. We only got like 5 more minutes, but I still want to talk about like other people's spaces because you said that you went to Riff Raff Studio.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear much about that, and I want to hear about it.
It was a good story. I went to a studio. It was out in LA. It was in this pretty interesting area. I think it was actually like a set pretty much where they happened to be shooting like film and different things. I think it was just like in the overall creative district.
LA, the whole thing. The whole thing is like creative district.
But I went there and I happened to walk in the studio and I remember there was literally like maybe 5 different studios in one giant unit. And each of them was like pretty much a different artist. And I went to Riff Raff's corner and he was just so inviting. I mean, he's a cool guy altogether. If you guys haven't met him, he's just super cool. But going back to the space, I remember there being all these panels and all these different types of synths. And it was just something so eye-opening to me because I kind of, at that moment, realized how real the world of music is. Mm-hmm. But that inspired me right away. I think even on the drive back home, I started making beats. Yeah. Not even for him, but just for my own happiness, because just seeing an organized space like that and say with his success kind of in correlation with that.
So many things are put behind like producing a song. Yeah. Like sound.
Dude, and you were
everything,
there. But there was maybe like a corner, like I guess the size of a closet, but it was pretty bigger than that. Mm-hmm. That was just in like a full glass room, like not even a door. Well, I think the door was made out of glass, but it was just a booth. And in comparison to our booth here, it was just like that was the Lord right there. But I really wish I could have just.
We want to get that to that. I think this corner needs to turn into that. I want to get like you see, like what I'm thinking is like cubicle panels.
Yeah.
Since like we
have that.
Yeah, and setting up like a little corner. Mm-hmm. But I saw like a little studio space where they had a bunch of acoustic panels. It was like a phone booth that you like step in and you sit down and you can rap in there. Yeah. That's like the alternative. But that's really cool. I actually haven't heard you really speak much about Riff Raff Studio. But that must have been cool. It must have been really eye-opening for you.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. I walked in there and my friend, Jesse, gave him his watch, and it was like over $50,000 watch. I seen it glistening, and I was like, "Dang, that's crazy."
Who's Jesse? Just to kind of clarify, I know he's been on the Shut Up and Fail podcast.
Yep. Jesse happens to be one of our partners, one of my friends. Happens to contribute to my outfits, my boxing outfits, and he's an overall great fashion designer. Does cut and sew products for specific clients. He's worked with individuals all over LA. Just a great guy in general to work. And we're actually going to have some line come out pretty soon. But we're kind of getting all that information together to make it enjoyable for you guys.
Sweet. So what's the ideal spot for you? Just to kind of close it out, just like for making music.
So,
like, where do you make your best beats?
The place that I make my best beats would happen to be on.
The truth,
Yeah,
where
I'm
do you
really
where
trying
do
to
you
break
really
it.
make?
I actually leave my desk behind and I go to my sister's desk because
Yeah.
her desk is organized.
Okay, so there we go. You got the organized space.
Yeah, but every time I pass by my desk, I look at it like it's
Oh.
fine, and it's probably even better than fine. Like, I love my desk because it's kind of a collaborative space that I just kind of put all the things that happen to make sense to me there.
Yeah.
And when I look at it, that's literally what inspires me to say dress a certain way that morning or to listen to a certain type of music.
Because you got a lot of more of your fashion inspirations there.
Yeah.
And you got like your neck, your
I have
your
like
chains, necklaces.
It's really like
rings.
a collage of everything that I like. Let's
Your
just leave it at
your
that.
desk does look like a
I'm
collage.
pretty abstract, guys.
We
Upcoming.
gotta put a photo out there one day.
I'm an installation artist, actually. What
I
about
like-
you? What's the best?
the best.
Give me
I
the
think
best.
the ideal spot for me. Well, my ideal spot for me with like painting is obviously like what I explained earlier in the podcast. But my ideal spot for like filmmaking would be just like an organized space with memory cards, having like a formatted memory card, full battery. You know what I mean? Like 2 extra and batteries in my pocket. Like maybe like a fanny pack of like just a bunch of different like 2 lenses that I could pull out. Like when we went to New York City, and I had two extra lenses inside of my bag, a whole like thing of memory cards, 3 extra batteries, and then I was like, I kind of felt like super refreshed. I had a clean outfit on. I was organized in my own space, so then I was able to create like any sort of vlog. Now sometimes my space is really unorganized, and then like I don't have any space in my hard drives, or I don't have any like. Then I feel like I need to do that first.
Yeah.
For me to go make a vlog. And I think that's another thing that had to do with my hair, because I always felt like I needed a haircut. So now I don't even get haircuts, and I have long hair, and one day I will have a bun, and I won't need to worry about my hair. So it's not going to stop me from doing a vlog, which makes me sound a little crazy, but that's because I am.
If you guys ever want to see Woody with big old eyes and like smile on his face, you gotta take him to the B&H store out in New York City. You could definitely tell that was Woody's like spot. He made a pretty grand purchase that day. Still has him in debt to this day. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. No, wait, what'd you buy there?
It was the Zhiyun crane.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it's an amazing gimbal, stabilizing system for any DSLR camera.
But that place,
It was about $1,000, and it is so clean. It made like, I feel like if I were to level myself like in videographers, I was probably like a 4, and now I'm like a 5
because of that equipment.
Yeah, because of that piece of equipment. Like that's like my realistic numbers in my own head, like 1 to 10, and 10 being like the best.
Yeah.
So I think I'm like at the middle range now.
Yeah. We all have room to grow.
We do. We really do. Every single day. Even right now, just like
about.
dealing with being organized with our notes and stuff, and being organized with this podcast, having like a post schedule and like understanding all that stuff, like that's going to be a big deal with like the success in this.
It's just how you water it, just how you allow it to sprout into existence.
Well, that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Do check out Jesse Osadega on Instagram. He goes by Dark8. Also check out Riff Raff. He's a great supporter of Joseph Landeros. And then what are you signaling to me?
Oh, and also AG.
YMC. Oh yeah, and then shout out to AG for setting up these panels in here. Shout out to Jesus for helping us with the projector. And then our cousin Panchio, he helped me too. Just a bunch of people. Like shout out to Rebecca for helping me organize the space. Like just so much support to everybody. Shout out to my family. Like everyone, thank you so much for helping us doing this. It's only gonna grow from here. One day you'll see us on television. Well, actually, you've already seen Joseph on television. One day you'll see me on television. What?